Welcome back to The Forge, everyone. Today we're diving into the world of blades with a twist. We're not talking about the best, the sharpest, or the most legendary. No, today we're looking at the underdogs, the black sheep, the knives with a target on their backs. These are the blades that, for one reason or another, have earned themselves a less than stellar reputation. So, strap in, grab your sharpening steel, you might need it after this, and get ready to explore the gritty underbelly of the knife world. Let's see if we can separate myth from reality and give these bad boys their day in court. First up, we have the Knife One name. Now, this knife has been around for a while, and it's built up quite the rap sheet. It's a name that many recognize, but not always for the right reasons. Some folks say it's prone to breaking under pressure. Imagine slicing through a tough piece of meat, only to have the blade snap in your hand. Others claim the blade dulls faster than a butter knife on a Sunday morning. You might find yourself constantly reaching for the sharpener. And let's not forget the grip. The handle is a crucial part of any knife. Some users find it about as comfortable as holding a handful of angry bees. It's not just about the material, but also the design and ergonomics. The Knife One name is often made with Knife One metal. This metal has its own set of characteristics. Now, Knife One metal is known for its Knife One metal positive attribute, but it can also be Knife One metal negative attribute. This dual nature can be a double-edged sword. This means that yes, the Knife One name might be more prone to Knife One metal negative consequence if you're not careful. Regular maintenance becomes essential, but it also means that with the right heat treatment and tempering, the Knife One name can be a real workhorse. It can handle a variety of tasks with ease. What feels uncomfortable to one person might be perfect for another. It's all about personal preference and how you use it. It might not be the flashiest knife on the block, but with a little TLC, it can still get the job done. Regular sharpening and proper care can extend its life significantly. So, while the Knife One name has its flaws, it also has its strengths. It's all about knowing what you're getting into and how to make the most of it. Next up is a knife that's been making waves, or should I say ripples, in the wrong circles. The Knife Two name. This one's a bit of a head-scratcher because on paper it looks like a winner. The specs are impressive and the marketing team has done a stellar job of making it look like the next big thing in the knife world. Sleek design, fancy materials, you name it. The blade is crafted from high-quality steel, and the handle boasts an ergonomic design that promises comfort and control. But the court of public opinion can be a harsh mistress, and the Knife Two name has been sentenced to the clinker of bad reputations. Despite its promising features, it hasn't lived up to the hype. Why? Well, some say it's all style over substance. It looks great on a display shelf, but when it comes to actual performance, it falls short. The Knife Two name is often marketed as a Knife Two intended purpose knife. It's supposed to be versatile and reliable, perfect for both professional chefs and home cooks. But in reality, it seems to struggle with anything more demanding than slicing a ripe tomato. Users have reported issues with its cutting power and edge retention. Part of the problem might be the Knife Two problematic feature. This design flaw has been a major point of contention among users. It looks cool, sure, but it doesn't do any favors when it comes to functionality. A knife should be more than just a pretty face. It needs to perform well in real-world scenarios. The Knife Two name commands a premium price, but many users feel like they're not getting their money's worth. For the cost, they expect a tool that can handle a variety of tasks with ease. It might be a decent knife for casual use, but if you're looking for a real workhorse, you might want to keep looking. There are other options out there that offer better performance and value for your money. Now, the Knife Three name is an interesting case. It's not that this knife is inherently bad. It's more a case of being misunderstood. You see, the Knife Three name is often lumped in with a group of knives known for their negative characteristic of the group of knives. And while it's true that the Knife Three name shares some similarities with those knives, it's actually a different breed altogether. The Knife Three name is designed for Knife Three intended purpose. It's a specialized tool that excels in that specific area. But take it out of its element, and it's like asking a fish to climb a tree. The problem is that many people buy the Knife Three name, expecting it to be something it's not. It's a great knife, but only if you use it for its intended purpose. Chapter 4. The Knife Four name. When innovation goes wrong. Sometimes you have to admire a company for trying something new. Innovation is the lifeblood of progress, and without it, we'd still be stuck in the past. But other times, you just have to shake your head and wonder what they were thinking. Not every idea is a good one, and some are downright baffling. The Knife 4 name falls squarely into the latter category. It was a product that promised much, but delivered very little. This knife was marketed as a revolution in blade design. The advertisements were everywhere, boasting about its cutting-edge technology. It promised to be sharper, stronger, and more versatile than any other knife on the market. The claims were bold, and the expectations were high. But the reality fell far short of the hype. Users quickly found that the knife didn't live up to its promises. The Knife 4 name featured a Knife 4 unique feature. This was supposed to set it apart from the competition. Now, on paper, this sounded like a great idea. The design looked innovative and promising, but in practice, it turned out to be a disaster. The knife was prone to breaking and malfunctioning. The Knife 4 unique feature made the Knife 4 negative consequence of unique feature. This flaw rendered it almost useless for its intended purpose. It quickly disappeared from the market, leaving a trail of disappointed customers in its wake. The Knife 4 name serves as a cautionary tale of what happens when innovation goes wrong. Chapter 5. The Knife 5 name. A victim of its own success? The Knife 5 name is a bit of a tragic story. This knife was once a legend. It was used by Knife 5 historical figures or groups who used the knife. It was renowned for its Knife 5 positive attributes. But then something strange happened. The Knife 5 name became a victim of its own success. As its popularity grew, so too did the number of counterfeit knives flooding the market. These knockoff, Knife 5 name knives were cheap, poorly made, and often dangerous to use. As a result, the reputation of the Knife 5 name took a nosedive. The real Knife 5 name is still out there, but it's become increasingly difficult to find. Chapter 6. The Knife 6 name. A design flaw that cuts deep. The Knife 6 name is a classic example of how a single design flaw can ruin an otherwise decent knife. On the surface, the Knife 6 name looks like a solid choice. It's got a Knife 6 positive attribute, but there's one glaring problem that keeps rearing its ugly head: the Knife 6 problematic feature. The Knife 6 problematic feature makes the Knife 6 negative consequence of problematic feature. This can be incredibly frustrating, especially if you're trying to use the knife for Knife 6 intended purpose. Some users have tried to modify the Knife 6 problematic feature to fix the issue, but it's a tricky fix and there's no guarantee it'll work. It's a shame because the Knife 6 name has a lot of potential. Chapter 7. The Knife 7 name. When marketing hype backfires. They say you can't judge a book by its cover. Well, the same goes for knives. The Knife 7 name is a prime example of a knife that was all bark and no bite. This knife was launched with a massive marketing blitz. It was touted as the ultimate survival knife capable of withstanding anything you could throw at it. But when people actually got their hands on the Knife 7 name, they quickly realized that it was all hype. The blade was made from Knife 7 blade material, which is known for being Knife 7 negative attribute of blade material. The handle was equally disappointing. Unsurprisingly, the Knife 7 name quickly faded into obscurity, remembered only as a cautionary tale. Chapter 8. The Knife 8 name. A case of over-engineering. Some knives are simple and elegant, others are complex and over-engineered. The Knife 8 name falls squarely into the latter category. This knife is a testament to the more is more philosophy. It's got more features, more gadgets, and more moving parts than you can shake a stick at. But here's the thing about over-engineered knives. They're often more trouble than they're worth. The more complex a knife is, the more things there are to go wrong, and go wrong they did. The Knife 8 name was notorious for breaking, jamming, and generally falling apart at the worst possible moment. It's a shame because the Knife 8 name had some good ideas. Chapter 9. The Knife 9 name. A budget blade that misses the mark. You know the old saying, you get what you pay for? Well, the Knife 9 name is a perfect example of that. This knife is dirt cheap, and when I say dirt cheap, I mean dirt cheap. But as tempting as it might be to snag a knife for the price of a cup of coffee, let me warn you, you're probably better off saving your money. The Knife 9 name is made from the cheapest materials imaginable. The blade is dull, the handle is flimsy, and the overall construction is about as sturdy as a house of cards. It's the kind of knife that will leave you frustrated and wishing you had spent a little extra for something better. Chapter 10. The Knife 10 name. A fashion statement, not a tool. Last but not least, we have the Knife 10 name. This knife is less about function and more about fashion. It's the kind of knife that you see in movies and TV shows, but rarely in the real world. The Knife 10 name is all about looks. It's got a Knife 10 flashy design element. It's the kind of knife that's designed to turn heads, not chop wood. But when it comes to actual performance, the Knife 10 name falls flat. The blade is often made from Knife 10 blade material, which is more brittle than it is tough. The Knife 10 name is a reminder that not all knives are created equal. The verdict is in. So there you have it, folks. 10 knives with reputations that precede them. But as we've seen, not all bad reputations are created equal. Some knives are genuinely flawed, while others are simply misunderstood or victims of circumstance. At the end of the day, the best knife for you is the one that fits your needs, your budget, and your preferences. So, get out there, explore the world of blades, and don't be afraid to forge your own